thanks and praise. Welcome back, dissidents. We're going to have some good old times. We are going to have some good times. Okay. I need to clean up some of the missing pieces from the relay race of my last video. There were very important chunks that did not get recorded. So allow me to lay this trail out and fill in some blanks about why everything is getting so stinky in the kitchen that I've been cooking here. Frederick Krupp? Frederick? Was he a Frederick or was he a Rudolph? I think it's Frederick Krupp. And the Krupp family legacy is needs to be brought out of this card for us to go forward. I think that this family is the origin of the word corruption. If it wasn't originally, it has added enough weight to the word to bear mentioning. So the family crest, or no, it's not the family crest, it's the business slogan logo from history, is this tripartite ring. And of course, now everybody is thinking about Led Zeppelin and all of the cultural buzz, the bubblegum stuff. I want to really focus on the corruption of it, just for this thread I'm going at. So put aside presumption and let's go after the Krupp family logo. This is the alchemical recipe for their railroad ties. In the Economist magazine, there's a lady devil pushing a series of train carts, coal carts, which the Bident family gets all their money from Scranton. Scranton is versus not narcs. So the train carts and the coal mining industry and all these family dynasties are getting a hail sign. And it's going into a mouth of a cave. And it's signifying greed. Card number 5 is in the position of the shadow of greed for number 5 personality type, who is an observer with shadow of jealousy or mammon. Infernal spirit of greed is mammon. One thing about Krupp that I need to bring to the forefront that I missed, it's so funny that it fell through the cracks, but Papa Krupp was obsessed with the smell of dung. He insisted on having his library above the horses' stables for his whole life. So there's an aspect of stability behind corruption. And it smelling like shit and being like shit and coming forth and being candid in the forefront that you can't hide the corruption. So you might as well just be forthright about it. That's kind of the message of the Krupp legacy. There is a possibility. I don't want to. Yeah, no, let's do it. I mean, we're talking about necromancy. We're talking about knuckle bones. We're talking about ventriloquism. Science is a seance. If you were going to invoke Papa Krupp, if you were going to bring him into the room and ask him how to run your books, you would want the smell of dung. This triggers me because Nag Champa has a mythological urban legend that it is the key ingredient of it is dung. And so many people are like, I guess I like the smell of dung. And this gives a nod to the godfather of corruption. That is so trippy to me. It is so trippy. So from the a bit of a science, necromantic angle, this card has a hail to Nag Champa. And that is some hellified weaving because it's so interesting. Because the Hierophant would require fumes in a ceremony. I think it's called a thurible. Thurigal is the swinging incense that comes to mind here. So something about odor is wafting about in the essence of this Hierophant card. And it is also relates to Immanuel Kant, because Nietzsche called Kant the Chinaman of Königsberg. And so you look at the hat on this character. The jump from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck to this deck is basically turning the standard Hierophant into a Chinaman of Königsberg, quoting Friedrich Nietzsche there. So Nagchampa almost rides on the waves of that accusation of that name. So another thing about Kant and the Krupp family legacy is there is maybe a thread. These two loose ends leaning in this direction of this card. I think there's much more to be sussed out in the undercurrents of research yet to be found. So I just wanted to bring that forward, because the interesting thing about this having a dung in relation to it is fascinating, because the next card is a fly, this mosquito, which I've been elaborating on its relationship to the viola Birnbaum, the highest pitch Birnbaum that scurries off on its own little solos and then comes back onto the rhythm. But when it scurries on its solos, they are so mesmerizing that it almost derails the thought. It's very distracting. So it's very devilish in its playfulness, this nature of the high-pitched viola Birnbaum. The next Birnbaum is the gunga, is the loudest, is the bass, is the braying zebra call, this mama Birnbaum. And sure enough, that is correspondent to this, what is in the lap of this chariot card. Now, it could be, because it does have facets, it could also be that the chariot is holding, that could be a gunga drum. That could be the big drum. That might even be the mama, the atabaki. This might be the atabaki. I just don't have an atabaki on hand. But the chariot card is definitely deeper, more bass-like characteristic. And I just want to highlight the correspondence. I know it's just circles and sunshine, but I've already associated the Plato of Plato with the poet's need for musical accompaniment. So this Plato is highly correspondent with the sonic resonance of cymatics. This is a cymatic image, not just the sun. And that is really next level penetrative insight. And the reason I'm so very sure the Capoeira needs to come forward into this tarot deck is because this was the kick that initiated me years ago. I'm going to link the show that I did with Chance, and in that show I described this double helicopter kick that Anna Peterson initiated me with decades ago, lifetimes back. And only now, when I thought I had a clue, is the second kick of her double helicopter kick coming around to take another swipe at my head with this beautiful telemetry data on the end of her toes. And she had red hair no less. It's amazing. It's just amazing to find Capoeira staring me in the face all along. Giggling, just giggling at me. So yeah, I'm taking this quite to heart. It's quite a sign in my worldview. If you go back to, I'll try to link it, my first interview with Chance, I described this kick and this very enchanting maneuver that captured me so long ago. And I also describe how my aunt is, she values these tarot cards in a very personal way. And she warned me, she said, these tarot cards are about you. This is a personal relationship with you. And I said, I agreed with her, but I also would add to that, that I see these tarot cards being used in our culture, steered and targeted in very incredibly crafty ways, playing into demographics and the fourth pillar of the quadrivium in very fascinating ways. We didn't have that conversation, But I went off running on my level of awareness of the implications, and now, only now, am I looking back at what my aunt told me and realizing that I missed that second kick. The second kick was my aunt telling me to pay more attention. This is personal, yo. This shit gets personal sometimes. And it's all good. It ain't scary. It's not special. It was just there all along. It was there all along. I got another example of this. And I don't know what these things are. I don't know what these things are. The universe is so much wiser than we give it credit for. But, started researching Hera in the Pavel constellation that is this universe card. And sure enough, I realized that my hairbrush is in the color of a peacock, which is a symbol of Hera. It even has little tines that are like the eyeballs of a peacock's plume. And I brush my Hera with this thing. The people who made this don't give shit about Greek mythology. The history, the essence of this, what this thing was before I thought of that, has nothing to do with the Greeks. But when I attached all this thought to it, its significance became undeniably beyond the definition of what it would be if I threw it in somebody else's hand. Hey, catch. Yeah, what's this? What's the big deal? But meanwhile, it could be an incredibly sacred implement with all of this invested value. Yeah, it's very interesting. Where does the value come from? And since when do I give a shit about any hairbrush over the next one? Well, since the hairbrush actually talked to me. Since the hairbrush had something personal to tell me. So yeah, I don't know what that is. It's the mystery of mysteries, right? So yeah, I got nothing. I'm going to leave y'all hanging on the rest of this. But for some reason, I was overlooking all the Capoeira all along. I was playing into it. Maybe I was shoehorning it in on my own, but then it just popped out all of a sudden. There's Capoeira in these tarot cards. This is a macaco. This is the backflip maneuver. Is actually both of these cards are kind of playing the macaco. This is Bom Jesus dos Navegantes. There are elements of Capoeira mythology and Portuguese traditions. Oh, up here we have crossing the line. This is a Capoeira chamada that we do. These two children. It is all filling in too hard and too fast for me to go step by step. Okay, but I'm going to bring some images to try to just to substantiate and convince you guys of this new level of appreciation. And then this death card is really sealing it for me. This is what sealed it for me. I can't go back. But the death card very much corresponds to a Birnbaum player. The tangy vibration waves coming off of this death card is just beautiful. It is the Hercules constellation, but the fact that his knee is jacked out in a weird position and he's the death card in Capoeira, if your knees touch the ground, it's a mark against you. You don't want your pants to ever get dirty. A clean Capoeira player is a good Capoeira player. So if you scuff the ground with your knee, that's like you got to start over. You lose face. It's a loss of face to scuff your knee on the ground. Okay, this is a long one. I've really been ranting. Also, this guy, the Magi card has the implements of the Birnbaum that I use. All of this is coming together in the most fascinating way. Okay, I got to say this. So that means the spike protein of the baton that's been passed around from Carrie Mollusk to Loki that is then passed on to Mobius. This is my spike protein. My Capoeira Birnbaum stick is the equivalent of the Magi wand of this Magus card all along. I should start using this thing to start pointing at my chalkboard. This is my new Magi wand. Isn't that funny? Isn't that so funny? It was there all along. I just hadn't put it in context. I guess that's what we're looking at. Context. Magical context. All right, yeah. I got to go walk this off. this whole project has taken whole new levels. I'm making claims that a lot of people aren't going to like. You know, this isn't a Elihu Yale symbol. This goat is a Elihu goat. And Elihu Yale founded Harvard, built on the backs of these dancing slaves in the inseminating and injected into culture in such fascinating ways. There's a strong Harvard weave with this. Strong Harvard weave. I wonder if there's a Capoeira group in Harvard, near Harvard. I wonder if there's a Capoeira group near and around Harvard. Yeah, all right. I'm calling it. I'm going to call it. I think that might have been a little anticlimactic. Maybe here. Let me throw this in on the pyre. I don't know if I mentioned already, but I think this is also an aspect of the Enneagram. I think that the 6 seat that I've been talking about all along is the left hand holding the Pandero, and the 3 seat of the Dionysian rites. I think the phenomenological secret of Dionysus is right here in this laurel wreath. All right. And I think I might have mentioned this. Did I mention that? Did I mention these? Did I mention all this? All right. I think I got all my symbols lined out so everybody can maybe consider reading Plato's Republic Book 3. I'm going to put a bunch of links in the show notes. A bunch of links because I'm making claims that require you to meet me more than halfway. Y'all got some catching up to do. Big love and respect.